Hey everybody, thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate seeing everybody, and it's just great getting together here to celebrate the opening of the Lenape steps. I just want to introduce you to Joshua Laird, who's the Executive Director of the Palisades Interstate Park Commission.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I want to say on behalf of the Palisades Interstate Park Commission and New York State Parks, Governor Houck, thank you, welcome, and thank you for being here. I'm going to start with a few thank yous, and I want to start with our colleagues at New York State Parks. The management of this park and the Palisades region is a partnership between the Palisades Commission and New York State Parks. This project would not have happened without State Parks' support, and I want to give a shout out to Assistant Deputy Commissioner Andy Fyfe, who's here with us today, and we'll speak in a few moments. We're also joined by a member of the Palisades Commission, Jeanette Redden, who's here. I think we're expecting, Jeanette, thank you, and I think we're expecting one other member of the Commission who's perhaps running late, Rosemary Manger. I also want to acknowledge others who are, I think, here with us today. Ulster County is represented by Liz. So thank you for coming. Is Terry Houck here?
I'm here for Terry. Bill Brown.
Okay, thank you for coming. And Jolly Rovers board member Emily Hague. Thank you. Crew boss Roch Boucher. I got it.
You got it.
As well as our friends at the Open Space Institute and the Nature Conservancy, who acquired and stewarded this place until it was acquired by the state in 2015. So thank you. I don't know, is Bob Anderberg here from Bob? All right, thanks for coming. And Matt Levy from the Nature Conservancy is here. So, and lastly, I want to thank our staff here at Sam's Point and Minnewaska State Park Preserve, led by our manager, Eric Humphrey, and site manager, Hank Alicandri. They and their team really take an amazing care of this place, and we thank you. So we are here to reopen the Lenape steps after their reconstruction by our partners at the Jolly Rovers. It was a painstaking 3-year process, a literal labor of love, and we're grateful for the Rovers' perseverance in the face of so many obstacles, including hurricanes and, of course, a global pandemic, a few little things. The weight of the stone blocks alone would have been enough to scare off most volunteers, but not the Rovers. The steps, so obviously, and most of you already know, these are not the steps behind you. The steps are about a half mile down the trail this way. We thought we would start with our remarks here today, but hopefully most, if not all of you, when we're done here, will walk with us down to the steps where we'll do a more official ribbon cutting and then hike to the top. Let's see here. So the work of the Rovers, as you'll see when we get there, is enormously impressive, but it hasn't just been this project. The Rovers have been an outstanding partner with Minnewaska and other parks in this region for years. Their efforts include work on the trail to the base of Stony Kills Falls, the staircase that connects Rainbow Falls to Upper Wawarsing Carriage Road, improvements to the Ice Caves Trail, the stairway connecting the Mohawk Visitor Center to the Undercliff Carriage Road, and the approach trail to the traps from the Sam Pryor Gateway Campground. And in the coming year, the Rovers will commence a new volunteer project at Minnewaska, where they have committed to improving access to Gertrude's Nose Trail, which is one of our most popular hiking trails within all of Minnewaska. This project will bring a steep talus section to a safer, more sustainable grade with approximately 75 stone steps. So slightly smaller version of what they've done here. And I'm pleased to announce today that the Commission is going to contribute $5,000 towards that effort to cover hard costs.
Thank you.
Partnerships like we have with the Rovers are an important way in which we steward this park and others and manage to keep going in the face of limited budgets, building friends and partners and being able to present a great experience for our visitors. We really couldn't do it without friends like the Rovers and Nature Conservancy and the Open Space Institute, who have worked with us to acquire this site and other lands around the region for so many years and continue to acquire lands. But the equity these partners create is not just about the value of their labor, but about the intrinsic value of protecting places like this for the beauty of the landscape that we can all enjoy, and for the role places like this play in sustaining the ecological health of the region and the intricate web of flora and fauna that thrive in this park. Some of you already know that a little over a month from now, we're going to institute a parking reservation system for access here. And really the driving force behind that is the desire to make sure we can continue to sustain this place and the ecological health of this place for our visitors. This has become such a popular destination that the concern of it literally being loved to death became a part of the conversation. And so rather than meet that demand by expanding parking, we wanted to come up with a way to manage visitors so that we protect the environment and we create a way that people who want to come here can know that they're going to get in without having to wait on a long queue to get in or get turned away entirely. So we're pretty excited to give this a try. It'll be a pilot this year. We're sure there'll be some little tweaks along the way, but we think it is, as our friends in the National Park System are finding out, a great way to manage healthy access to special places like this. So with that, I want to introduce Andy Fyfe again, Assistant Deputy Commissioner at State Parks, to also say a few words.
Thanks. Thank you. I'm going to read some notes that were for my commissioner who couldn't be here today. So Commissioner Eric Coolsade sends his regards to everyone, and his boss, Governor Kathy Hochul. So welcome to this event. I just wanted to say thank you to Joshua Laird and Hank for hosting. And just talk a little bit about the construction here. So can you just raise your hand if you're a Rover, so I know who the Rovers are? Okay. So you guys know the project a bit.
Let Andy tell you about the work that you did.
Yeah, that's right. What I know is there were some Rovers that I did a project with when I was in the Berger Student Conservation Association at Bear Mountain, and we did rigging. And my muscles hurt so bad the next day. I wasn't sure if I did it right or wrong. That feeling like maybe the form was good or bad. So these guys are the real deal. But I've only seen it in pictures. I've only seen the steps completed in pictures. And all I can say is wow. You've created an enduring, long-standing pathway for Sam's Point, Minnewaska, as you have done at Bear Mountain and Hudson Highlands State Park, where I've walked, and other places here. The Rovers' support and enthusiasm here represent about 100 stone steps, if I got it right. Not 75, but 100 here, 75 elsewhere, taken from nearby boulders, which I think is an important part of this. Cut, shaped, and set by 50 volunteers, is that about right? 50 volunteers representing about 7,000 people hours. 7,000 people hours. 100 stones cut from nearby boulders, 70,000 people hours. To me, that's superhuman, because after that day at Bear Mountain, my muscles, right? And you know, this was originally a hotel. I don't have to tell these folks the Lenape steps date back to the 1860s, where early hotel owner Thomas Botsford, if I have that right, built them so visitors could reach Sam's Point. His hotel burned down only a few years later, but the steps endured as a tourist attraction, really. But over the years, you know, effective gravity and freeze-thaw cycles, they deteriorated. And I just got to say, having a house from that vintage, 1860s, the craftsmanship back then was incredible. So to redo it, to refurbish it, is really quite something. I can't do that. You know, this I do want to just connect this what's happening here today that we'll see. You know, early Hudson Valley tourism destinations that we're trying to refurbish in parks. It's happening here across the Hudson Valley and across the state. We're really trying to bring it to the 21st century as a new tourist, redone, reborn tourist trap. Why not? Why not? Once you're here, you can't leave. Destination. Also, it is an important you know, symbol of the partnerships that are important to state parks and Palisades Interstate Park Conservancy. You know, quite frankly, we can't get stuff like this done with our current budget. Within the confines of our budget, we do the best we can to run 215 or so parks, 75 beaches, 30-something golf courses, 30 nature centers, 850 cabins and cottages, 8,500 campsites, and around 2,000 miles of trail. That's before the Empire State Trail. So we depend on folks like the Rovers to do these charismatic projects that always get left out of the big funding dollars, right? So thank you, and let's keep doing more. Appreciate it. Lisa Berger, I'm going to introduce Lisa Berger from the Ulster County Tourism Director.
Hi everyone, I'm here today to represent County Executive Pat Ryan. He couldn't be here today, but he did want me to start by sending you a hearty congratulations and well done on the work that you've done here. You know, what you've accomplished with this project really are at the core of Pat's service leadership himself. This is about volunteerism, it's about building community, and it's about sustainability. And so those core values that are held dear by the county leadership are reflected in your work. And he is very, very proud of the work that you've accomplished here, and he wanted it recognized. As the Director of Tourism for Ulster County, I am here to say that your work refurbishing and rebuilding these steps will be part of a continuation of the Minnewaska State Park Preserve tradition of welcoming people of all kinds to our most breathtaking landscape in the county. And so thank you for the hard work that you've done, for opening this up for people to come and see. And we can't wait to encourage people to visit this incredible tourism destination. So with that, I am going to pass over to Wawarsing Town Council.
Thank you. I was asked by Supervisor Houck to stand in for him today. He had a prior commitment. He apologizes that he is unable to make this ceremony. On behalf of the town of Wawarsing, I want to thank New York State Parks and the Palisades Interstate Parks Commission for their cooperative efforts to refurbish and reopen the historic cliffside stone steps here at Sam's Point. Through this cooperative effort, the town of Wawarsing wants to recognize and thank the Jolly Rovers, a Hudson Valley group who have restored the stairs over the last 3 years, along with about 50 volunteers specializing in the building of natural stone pathways. It's great to see and be a part of such a project dating back to the 1860s. Sam's Point is such an integral part of our park lands in the town of Wawarsing that many look at their stewardship as if it's a national park. Due to so many park features, Sam's Point draws more than 500,000 visitors annually. The town of Wawarsing thanks New York State's Parks, Palisades Park Commission for introducing online reservation system at Sam's Point solely for weekends and holidays starting in May of this year. The reinvention of the Lenape steps will clearly accent and focus on the history of Sam's Point amidst the beauty and habitat and backdrop to our Shawangunk Ridge. And at this time, I'd like to introduce two of the Jolly Rovers, Emily Hague, board chair, and Roch, Boucher, crew leader.
Hi everybody. As Mr. Brown said, I have the pleasure of serving as the board chair for our volunteer trail crew, and we just want to say thank you once again for hosting us here, for having this today, for allowing us to do this fantastic project. As has been stated, our mission is to create sustainable trails to iconic places in public parks. This is one of the most iconic places we could possibly imagine, and we were so thrilled to be able to work here. We are all volunteer. Anybody is welcome to join us. All you need is some time and some willingness to learn. We celebrate the fact that we have crew members from multiple states, from all walks of life, with all levels of skill, and we welcome anybody to join us. We've been together for over 11 years, and so this project has been a significant part of our crew's history. And we are, as I said, just so grateful to have had this opportunity. We're also really grateful for our partnerships with New York State Parks and P.I.P.C. It's a symbiotic relationship, I think, because, you know, it really enables us to contribute to the public's experience in iconic places and give our volunteers the chance to work on high-profile trails and often to be together as we're working. Being able to camp here together while we do this work really contributes to our community, and it sounds like we have some shared values with community and sustainability, some of our core tenets. So once again, just thank you for entrusting us with this unique and challenging project. It was a real dream, and part of the, well, I should say the origination of that dream, the spark, really started with our former executive director, Chris Ingwe, who's here today. Chris, raise your hand. So we want to acknowledge him and the dream. Chris, do you want to say just a couple of words?
What a long, strange trip it's been. I think this spot was very important that we're speaking here because, as I recall, it seems like forever ago, but when we kicked off this project, before any stones had been set, we sat here, we talked, our first briefing right here. And I think my words were something on the lines of, don't worry, it's going to be hard, and I think that ended up being an understatement. But what I do recall is that many years even before that, I was on a hike and I met Hank, and we took a drive in the mule, and you were showing projects for the Rovers to do. It was 2014 around. And he's like, this, you know, we could do this project, ice caves. You don't remember that one. Yeah. And he's like, and then we stop at the base of these cliffs here, and he's like, you know, through the brush here, through the vegetation, there was an old staircase. You gotta be kidding me. And he says, oh yeah, there's a hotel here, and it's like, it's a dream project, you know, I don't know if it'll ever happen. And I'm like, let's take a look. We push the vegetation aside, and I look at it, and I see the Rovers all over it. It was steep, it was full of stone, and it looked nearly impossible. And immediately I told Hank, we're going to be able to do this. Not this year, not the year after, but eventually we're going to be able to do that. And the reason I said that was because of a tremendous faith in every volunteer here. And this crew is actually not about the steps you're going to walk. I think that's the secret. One of the questions we've gotten since the start of Jolly Rovers was, how the hell do you get volunteers to do hard labor at this level of professionalism with no pay. And that's because it wasn't about the work. It wasn't about the work. It was really about the people, and the project that we're all going to experience today is a product of very genuine people who are dedicated to a craft because, quite frankly, they love each other. And I think that's the spirit of volunteerism that has made me so proud to be a part of this group. I have since retired from my position with Jolly Rovers, but that spirit is very much with me, and I love you all dearly. So thank you very much.
Roch to say a few words about the project.
All right, so first I'd like to thank Hank for his infinite patience, because I guarantee you he'd walk up there and he'd say, "Oh my God, when is this thing going to be finished?" And I know he thought that because that's what I thought every time I went up. When I was asked to kind of put my reflections on this particular project, there's one word that came to mind, and that word was seminal. That was my cue. I need to have a cue, otherwise I'm going to forget this word. And in my mind, it was a seminal project for three reasons. Three reasons. The first one had to do with the individuals that worked on the project. Okay? This project became meaningful for those individuals working on that project. They gave in their time, their heart, their passion, and it became important as part of their life for that 3 years. And yeah, we did it during COVID, and yeah, during rain and everything else, but it became important for each one of the individuals in the Rovers. The second reason it was a seminal project is because it upgraded our craftsmanship as Rovers. Chris forgot to mention that one of the things we talked about that first day was some design parameters that we had for this project. And what we wanted to do was make sure we created something that was organic and that it looked like the cliffs themselves had proposed the stones to us and put them in place for us to walk. So that became a brief. Now that brief now created a number of challenges. One of the challenges was there wasn't enough rock on at that actual site. We had to harvest stone all over the park. And it had to be stone from the park because we couldn't get quarried stone cut from elsewhere with straight edges. That was not going to make the brief. So we had to find stone and get it there. That's a logistical problem. We then had to get the stone and other material out. And then that was the rock railway, which if you see the pictures, you'll see that was another concept that we came up in order to do. We had a long conversation about do not touch the walls of this canyon because Eric is going to be pissed at you. Okay? I don't want to piss off Eric. Heaven forbid. So we had to improvise a number of things, such as the sky hooks that we use. So all of a sudden, we ended up having to invent new ways of doing things and do things differently. And because we wanted that organic look, it wasn't, okay, this is the next step, put it in. It was, oh, which one of these 100 pieces of stone do we have here that is the correct stone at this correct place? Down to, does it have the right patina? Does it have the right color? If you go up the steps, you'll see there's a shift in the patina of the stone as you go up towards the top. Now, taking those stones and putting them into place was like a jigsaw puzzle. And then we had to really up our game in terms of the stonework that we do and how we do it to interlock all of those bits and pieces. So that was upping our game as Rovers. It was a seminal project. We are much better for that because of that. And then I think the third reason for me that it's a seminal project was because it demonstrated the power of taking the correct project with some volunteers that have the correct attitude and the correct skill set, with the support of the parks environments, and we can turn something out like what we did there, that I guarantee you cannot do this with money. You wouldn't have been able to do that. So to me, that's sort of my recollection as a seminal project. Now, I'm going to close by saying a big thank you. And those were my opinions, but I invite anybody to talk to any of the Rovers, and they will share with you their view of their time and what they've learned on this project. Okay? That's it. Thank you.
And now we're going to turn it back over to Dr. Laird for a few final remarks. Thank you.
So, well, I mean, so we're going to hike out now to the steps for the half-mile hike. Hopefully, after all this hard work, you're not too tired to come out and join us. But before we do that, for maybe the few of you who don't have time or to go with us, we have a little presentation here now, and then we'll actually cut a ribbon at the base of the steps. So, So this is a little sign to hang at Jolly Rover headquarters. I believe you want to rock one up.
Thank you. That's nice.
Thank you.
Do something here.
Yeah, that sounds great. We'll have so many places to put this.
Yeah.
They'll just travel with us as we row.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So, Hank, we have a truck going out for a few people.
Yeah, if there's people that want to go and can't walk, we can meet up by that green truck over there, and the rest of us can start walking, and basically just bear right at that sign, and you will not miss the steps. They'll be on your left.
Spent 3 years of my life here. You know?
And then I'm ready.
Did you finish the project with everyone's fingers?
They said right where he was standing.
There's a picture right here, guys, the historical photo of where the hotel was. You can match that cliff with it. That's the stairs right here.
Underneath. Oh my goodness.
And then the stairs obviously went out of the left side of that building.
Right.
And up to there.
Nice tree.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I was going to say everything was flammable.
Remember I told you about the 12-foot step? This was it. This one right here, Chris, myself, and Steve pulled it out right down there, split it right in half, and those are the first 2 steps. We built this rock railroad from the top. We slid rocks down on a sled to get them down into the chasm. We don't have a picture of it here, but we had a 30-foot, 3-inch steel beam that we hung across to span it. We put 3 slings on it and a chain hoist. Some of you see the steps up here. We've got steps that are 900 to 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, you can tell those things
Yeah.
are huge. Huge.
You guys did terrific work, and you really do. Epitomize kind of the hope and dreams of our county executive. You know, the community likes that. Service first. Better than what you got there. So you guys have
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Why don't we, because people will begin to break up after we get to the top, why don't you, the Rovers, come on up with the sign and get a photo of all of you together.
Christian did.
Can we coordinate this? Who are we smiling at first?
Go left to right.
All right. Move to the right. And push up. And to the
Okay, well, can we get one more with our commission representative?
Yes, thank you.
There she is.
I got a high point.
Someone just has to yell at us. Yeah, we'll stand here smiling all over.
Yeah, how was it?
I will show Chris. Show Chris. And those beans.